Hello, friends, and welcome to the lesson 4 of Unit 4. And today we are going to talk about online buying process. So far we have done e-marketing, social media marketing, components of e-marketing, and today let's talk about online buying process, which we also call as e-commerce. So there are four learning objectives for this lesson. First, e-commerce marketing. Let's have some basics. Then we'll talk about a term ROPO, which is very important. After that, we'll talk about hosting and inventory management. And then how can you enhance the e-commerce? Let's start with the e-commerce marketing. As we had talked about the funnel, wherein you bring the people uh, and you try to narrow the funnel so that ultimately the people, in case of e-commerce, the people who are ready to buy. So today we'll be discussing the bottom of the funnel. We had seen how to bring the people from top of the funnel to the bottom of the funnel. So now they are ready to purchase. So that is where e-commerce comes in. So the marketing has played its role. So when we talk about performance focused marketing, so that is where the bottom of the funnel is relevant. Now there are two main categories when people buy. So in the buying process, we'll talk about whether the buying is solely online or it is offline and online. So in that context, let me talk about ROPO. What is ROPO? ROPO is research online and purchase offline. So most of the people, most of the consumers, what they do a lot of research online, but they purchase, they go to the shop and purchase offline. Remember why this is so? Because consumers have more information which they can research online and they have less patience. So I'll talk about that. So we have been discussing about digital marketing, and today we are talking about e-commerce. But at the same time, the brick and mortar business is not dead. But what has happened is the online shopping has put pressure on them, so forcing them to adapt and reinvent the space. So most of the people feel that they want to experience the shopping by going out and buying offline. But the online shopping has really put a lot of pressure on brick and mortar business. So let me elaborate on that, how this pressure has come on them. Earlier, if you look at any, as an example, a local bookstore, it used to look like this. But today, when you go to a bookstore, you see it is not only the books, but there are a lot of other things. So they are trying to give an experience to the consumers who are coming to buy even a book or read a book, but at the same time they want to enjoy coffee as well. So that is how the online shopping has put pressure, and they are trying to reinvent the space which they have. So why people prefer to shop offline? So as per a research, these are some of the key factors. Number one, people would like to see and touch item, and they would like to try the item, okay, especially clothing. They would like to ascertain whether the item looks the same and why they go for ROPO. So they have researched online, but when they go, they want to buy offline because they want to be fully ensured that what they have seen, they are getting the same. Sometimes the delivery takes too long, so they can't wait, they don't have that patience. Also, if there is a shipping cost, they don't want to pay for that. Or maybe the item is too valuable. For example, you're buying a very expensive mobile phone or jewelry. So if it is too valuable, so you prefer to go and buy offline. But when people do the research online, so what they do is, even if they buy offline, they try to get all the information about the product which they are going to buy by doing the research. So the attributes they are looking at is the pricing, the product descriptions, delivery and return policy, and customer reviews, if there are any, and payment options. So, in a way, if your online information on the product is not good, they are not even going to buy offline. So, that is what we are talking here. And most of the time, you can track the user who has researched online, and when they go to the store, you can track that user. So, there are ways to do that. Let's talk about hosting and inventory management in the process, the online buying process. Firstly, we need to understand what is a plugin. Plugin is nothing but this is an additional functionality that is a software. For example, I have a website. Now, for entering into e-commerce, I don't have to make a new website or start from zero. So there are plugins which can be put on my existing website so as to make it an e-commerce website. So some of the plugins which are available and which are good are Shopify, BigCommerce, WooCommerce. Like WooCommerce is a free platform up to a certain extent, and then as you add on more of the plugins, more of the features, then you have to pay for that. So let me also talk about some of the tips for inventory management. So when you are putting your products or services online, under the e-commerce platform. So the images have to be high quality. So I'm talking about 5 clear things which you have to keep in mind. Your reviews of the products from the consumers who have already purchased and used that product. Clear product descriptions, so very, very important. Keep the customer journeys and touch points in mind when you are giving the navigational tools. And it should have very clear navigation and it should be mobile friendly. So these are the 5 tips for the inventory management. So when we talk about the navigation, it has to be very clear, right? So in terms of the categories, so you should make it very simple and less in number. So if you are putting too many categories, it becomes very confusing. And take the broad categories, and within that then you can use the filters to understand the requirement of the consumers. So for example, I put the category, as you can see, this is a bakery which is using the e-commerce platform. So categories: cake, biscuits and muffins, only 3. Now what sort of a cake? So another filter, then there could be sub filter and so on. So birthday, wedding or anniversary. So this is what I meant by categories and then filters. So if we talk about some more of the tools which you should use for e-commerce to enhance your sales is search bar. So you know the search bar already. So people should be able to find what they are looking for. Number one. Number two, also whatsoever the users are typing in the search bar, the terms they are using, so they are very valuable for us for the analytics point of view. So it will depend what sort of search bar and what sort of analytics you can use depending on the platform you are using. Optional account, give the user an option to create an account, but that should be optional. And you otherwise you can include a guest account which the user can use, and also you can put some way to opt in for the users so that they can get the marketing email. So that option should be very subtle, put in a very soft way into your e-commerce website. So what are breadcrumbs? So we need to understand that. Breadcrumbs are nothing but this is the path which is followed by the user while navigating your website. So, for example, home products, computer equipment, hard drives, although they can use the back button, but if I want to go to home, I have to press 5 times the back. So if I am seeing my path, I can immediately click on if I am just looking at products, and then I can find the category and all that. Payment options, so try to give multiple options, for example, Visa, MasterCard, PayPal, and please do some research in the country, in the area, in the region where you are going to promote your product or service, because in many regions they insist on uh, generating an invoice and sending that to you. So accordingly, you can put the payment options there. Now it is important to enhance the product experience. How can you do it? So the images consumers see, they can rotate those, they can zoom in, right? Zoom in, zoom out, and there could be more videos and there could be 360-degree views. So all these options you can provide. And these days, Google also provide a free service which is known as the Merchant Center. So you can do the advertising for your catalog or the product catalog, as we call it. And the reason for that is you can then later on look at the performance of products and also what sort of things the audience want. So you can use those analytics and analyze the things. So you need a Google account for that. And the good thing is the Merchant Center can integrate many of your platforms on which you are building your e-commerce website. Now you need a data feed. So what is a data feed in terms of Google? It is nothing but a product catalog. And you might be knowing what a product catalog is, which talks about the product range and the description of that product. So a very descriptive way of defining your product. So they are very, very important because then you will understand the options and see the performance of your product properly. So what are the attributes that you require for your product catalog, or which what we call as data feed? The other name is the ID, the title, description, the link, the image link if there is an image, the price, and the brand, and GTIN, which is a unique ID for that product. Now let us dedicate few slides to how can you enhance the e-commerce. Now one is that when someone is just exiting from your shopping area and is exiting from the cart, so you need to put an exit pop-up. So the message which comes as you want to exit the website or the app, right? So that is very, very important. Second is there is mouse tracking available. For example, if a user is moving the mouse on the screen, so where the eyes are, because where the mouse is, the eyes are there. So you can see what the users are doing on screen, what they are seeing, and it can be tracked these days. Then comes the chatbots, and we talked about machine learning and natural language processing capabilities. The chatbots, they use that. So it is like robots. So instead of manually looking after your customer care center or for your sales team to take for the telecalling, so you use the chatbots these days. So these are artificial intelligence bots who are chatting with the user. So they can complete the consumer purchases, They can give consumers the product, they can give some recommendations, and they provide the full 24 by 7 customer support. And generally these days we are using AI chatbots. And earlier these were rule based, so they were able to answer some specific queries only. If we talk about enhancing the e-commerce further, so delivery, same day or next day max. So if you are unable to do that, then I think that's a cause of worry for you. Another one is the loyalty program. So many of the companies, they try to provide the loyalty card and you purchase through your loyalty card. And that way they give you some discounts and rewards and you keep on accumulating the points. And maybe after 10 purchases, you may get some product free. So these loyalty cards are being used by Reebok and Starbucks, and they prefer that you use the app so that you can use your loyalty card. So that's a good e-commerce promotion. And towards the end, I would like to say that you should be focusing more on apps rather than the website these days. So functionality is faster and it can push notifications which otherwise are not possible. It can also track the location and you can run the engagement campaigns. So this is a good way of enhancing your e-commerce. So when we talk about enhancing e-commerce, many companies are using the augmented reality. So when we say augmented reality, two examples I would like to give is IKEA and Sephora. Now Sephora or maybe other platforms, if you are walking, you will see like on the screen you're seeing. So there is a coffee shop maybe 50 meters ahead. So like that. So this is augmented reality and you can see inside also while you are outside. So another example is IKEA. IKEA, what they have done is there is an app place, IKEA place. So what you can do is you can take a picture of your house, the corner where you would like to put the furniture, and send that picture to the app. So then the app, and then you pick the product of IKEA, a sofa or whatsoever furniture you want to buy. Then it virtually places that furniture in that area and how it looks, so you can see that as if you are seeing in reality, and that is how they are making use of that. So let us see a video of IKEA, how they are using that technology. So friends, you have seen how easy it becomes for the shopper to check which furniture they want through augmented reality. So another way to enhance is many people, they don't buy and they abandon the cart. So that we call as cart abandonment. So you need to understand at what stage the consumer or the user has abandoned the cart. So that is very important because then you will understand the user well. So some of the examples is like add to cart, checkout, billing address, payment details, and confirm payment. So these are the 5 steps through which they move before they get the payment confirmation. So at what stage they have abandoned the cart. So that is very important. So you can set a goal for your funnel for cart abandonment. So that facility is available under the e-commerce management as we talked through the plugins. Another thing which you need to consider is the lifetime value. It is the same we have discussed that in detail. So you can evaluate the performance of campaigns that you are running once we try to build a campaign, maybe in one of the case studies towards the end of this unit. So then you will understand the performance of different campaigns and different channels that you are using. You can compare, and this is for all the users and not just the converted users lifetime value. So that is all from my side. So let me summarize the things for you. We talked about e-commerce marketing, ROPO, hosting and inventory management, and then how you can enhance the e-commerce. So here is a small quiz. Question number 1 for you is what ROPO stands for. Please let me know. Type in your chat box all the answers. What are breadcrumbs in e-commerce? And third is what is the other name of data feed? The answer to first question, ROPO stands for research online, purchase offline. What are breadcrumbs? This is the path user has chosen, so in terms of the hierarchy. What is the other name of data feed is the product catalog. So that is all from my side. And if you want to do some further reading, this is a good article on ROPO effect. Very, very good article and worth reading. So that is all from my side. See you next time with the next lesson of Unit 4. Bye for now. Shabba Khair.